Manchester City are the best team in the world right now, but the real question they have to face themselves this summer is how on earth do you improve a team that just won the treble? But in City's case, they actually have quite a lot to do this summer. On top of losing Gundogan to Barcelona, it looks like Walker to Bayern is all but done, and Riyad Mahrez is edging closer and closer to a move to Saudi Arabia. And these are seriously important players to City, not just technically, but mentally too. Straight from the off, City are desperate for a player of Gundogan's quality, and Kovacic is a good player, a very good player in fact. He's a top carrier of the ball, he's a top counter presser, he's actually quite calm in possession, so he has that retention in his game, but he's 29 years old and he lacks a lot of what Gundogan offered. And the two players that I'm going to recommend for Manchester City in this left 8 midfield spot is either Rio Hatate from Celtic or Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa. Both of them play as left-sided midfielders for their team in possession. Both of them are very good direct goal-scoring threats. They both offer a good level of chance creation. They are both tactically disciplined, out and in possession. Hatate is a master of the counter press, and Ramsey is a brave and pretty combative defensive cog for one of the best off-the-ball coaches in Europe. And I think Jacob Ramsey also links to City wanting to sign another homegrown player, and they will need this, especially after losing Kyle Walker. And Kyle Walker is a big hit for City if he is to leave the club. He provides a dynamic that not many can provide in the whole of world football. He's one of the best 1v1 lockdown defenders in the sport, full stop. Manuel Akanji has done amazing when stepping in, but City need depth. So two of the wildcard shouts I had for this right back role are Cossano of Leverkusen or Mike Gahey. And these two players I like a lot for the right back and right centre half dynamic, but it really looks like Benjamin Pavard is going to be the direct replacement. And for the majority of his time at Bayern, he's been playing as a right back who can tuck in as a third centre back in possession. And it's this tactical understanding of his position that Pep will value, but he isn't that sort of Kyle Walker lockdown defender. And Pep often spoke last season about how crucial it was to have defenders who were capable of defending 1v1 in high and wide areas. Hence why he actually finished the season using 4 centre backs at one time in the same back line. So if Benjamin Pavard was to play this third centre half kind of position for Manchester City, then no doubt he would be really good. But if City still wanted to use them 4 centre backs in the back 4 to defend in wide and high areas, then Pavard sometimes does drop some blunders, but his overall net positive in possession is worth it. Next position, and one of the most important when it comes to the grand scheme of things, is the right wing slot. And as if the right winger market wasn't already as bare as it is, Manchester City minimised the criteria of that right winger even more. And in past seasons, Manchester City's wingers have not been direct goal threats, but they still have to be able to chance create to a decent level. But on top of that, they need to be able to control the game from wider areas, have good temperament in their passing, and progress the ball to a truly elite standard. So I'd probably say that Samuel Chukwueze and Moussa Diaby are far too direct and far too goal output heavy. So the one for me has to be Michael Olise. He has good temperament in his passing when he wants to. He's obviously a left-footed right winger. He has a really good level of chance creation. He's got good discipline off the ball. I think he's got that kind of Riyad Mahrez swagger and flair in his carrying and dribbling ability. He's also a phenomenal crosser of the ball, which will help Erling Haaland a lot. He favours this in-swinger that's a bit more lofted to the back post, and he uses this same technique when it comes to switching the play and playing these longer ranged passes to spread the width of the pitch. And his natural starting position for Crystal Palace in possession is as wide as possible, which we all know is the main criteria for that of a Pep Guardiola winger. And last but not least is a potential at left centre half if Laporte is to leave the club. Gvardiol is looking most likely, and don't get me wrong, he's phenomenal. He's an elite carrier and passer of the ball. He's played as a left centre half in a back 3, he's played as a left back in a back 4, and this kind of stems back to that criteria of Pep Guardiola centre halves being able to play as a full back and a centre back when called upon. However, I don't think he's an amazing wide defender or pure defender, but if he's partnered with Ruben Diaz in a back 2, then the balance will be perfect. I just think that Nathan Ake is far more suited to that left back position because he is one of the best lockdown defenders in the sport also. I think Gvardiol is much more tailored to that of a left centre half, and it gives Manchester City a left centre half who's left footed and a right centre half who's right footed. I would say though, it's going to take something massive to improve this team, and don't get me wrong, regression following a treble has happened before and it will happen again. Not to mention, City aren't just losing a few of their players, they're losing a few of their top players, and it's going to take a lot to replace them. But if there's one team that can replace top players well and have a good track record of doing so, it is Manchester City.